Hey, my tech guy Tim here. So today we're looking at two iPhones. I have an iPhone 7 Plus and an iPhone 8 Plus. We recently upgraded, so now we're unlocking them and then going to resell them. And the key things to look for here is just the overall any scratches or dents, which they actually both are in very good condition, minus just a few nicks on the iPhone 8 Plus, I believe. And we're also looking at the battery life to take that into account. They both do have a message on the that it needs to be serviced, but I'll point out some key things to look for that still make them worthwhile and still usable, and what to look for if you are looking to buy an iPhone, a used one, that even though it's saying it needs to be serviced, it can still function just fine. Just the pictures that I took, just to show the whole side, all sides of the phone, and then also just making sure in the description I highlight any information on the battery that I want to disclose, just so they're fully aware. And then we'll kind of go through what I went through, just scoping out a price for these, just kind of comparing what others were posting it for, and then going a little higher as usual, and then bringing the price down a little bit. But they sold pretty quick. I did get a lot of messages for them, but it took a little bit to kind of weed out the not so serious people to get to an actual buyer, and we'll go through that whole process here. Now we're going to go into just showing some pictures of the iPhone 7 as it's kind of B-roll, and then from there we're going to just talk more about the batteries, and then and then the posting part, and then the selling, and we'll wrap it up. That was the iPhone 7 Plus. So now we're going to take a look at how to confirm that an iPhone is unlocked and not locked to a certain carrier. In this regards, these were purchased through at&t, but they were fully paid for before upgrading to the new iPhone 11 that I have. And the unlocking process is actually pretty easy as long as you have your account, and you can just do it right through at&t's website. So we'll look on the iPhone as to where to see that it is unlocked, and we'll also take a look at just confirming that it was completely reset. It's not linked to any account, and Find My iPhone is not turned on. As long as you check those main things, that will allow the phone to be used on any carrier and under any other account. And then we'll also take a look at the battery settings after that as well. All right, under settings, sign into your iPhone. It's not signed into any account, and the Find My iPhone, which locks the account, locks the phone, is not active, so nothing's signed in. If I go down to General and About, that's the iPhone 7 Plus. And carrier lock is no SIM restrictions, so that confirms that it's not restricted to any carrier. So we just talked about the no restrictions, so as long as you see that, then the phone should be good to go under most carriers. If you do get a phone that has the no restrictions, I would still double check the IME code. That's the code that you use to unlock the phone in the first place. So there's a number that you can dial if you Google it, or you can search it under settings. But if you use that code and put it towards your carrier, they should be able to confirm that this phone will work with you. Because if it is unlocked for other carriers, there's no guarantee that it will work. So you still would need to confirm with your carrier, but the phone itself would be unlocked and should be able to be used with most, in this case, United States carriers. If you go to Settings, General, and About, this is where you can also see on my current iPhone, I have not unlocked it. So this is where I see the carrier lock, and it is SIM locked. And then it will also give you a message letting you know that this is most likely locked with the original carrier. So this is what it will look like under a phone that is still locked to a carrier. And then the no SIMs restrictions is the under iPhones that are not locked to a carrier. So now with the battery side, so the iPhone 7 Plus has the 79%, and it does have that warning message. For the battery health, the iPhone 7 Plus does have the 79%, and it is giving the message service to be serviced. The key thing to look for here is the peak performance capabilities. So if the battery, it's saying your battery is currently supporting normal peak performance. If it wasn't supporting normal peak performance, it would have a message here saying otherwise. And that's when you absolutely know you need to change the battery. So in this regard, the battery should be replaced because it does not last very long. I mean, typically it was still getting me through a day with video usage and other stuff like that. But I was on the verge of replacing it or upgrading, and I went for the upgrade option. So just something to keep in mind if you are looking. I mean, the phone will still function. It still worked great. It was in good shape. But in regards to the peak performance, that's really where you want to keep an eye out for to make sure that's there's no errors underneath that. And the battery wise, I mean, just be prepared that you will have to kind of keep a charger nearby if you are using it heavily for videos and stuff. If you're a light user, then this phone would work perfectly. No issues, from my experience at least. And then just to compare that, I mean, this is the new iPhone 11 that I have. It kind of words it a little differently here, but ultimately it is the same thing. And then the 99%, I mean, it's a brand new battery, brand new phone, so I would expect nothing less than that. So that's just kind of a quick comparison, and just showing the difference between the battery options there. The iPhone 8 Plus actually was even a little less. I think it was at 75%. So again, just kind of taking that into account when reselling them. And as we get ready to price these phones to list them, just doing the normal Google search. So the key things to mention here is that because I know these phones are unlocked, you just pull in the size. That's a good factor. And then unlocked, and then this can kind of give you an indicator of kind of a price range. So a lot of times I'll add the eBay at the end and give a range. So I mean, typically the iPhone 7, from what I'm finding, is around 180 to like 220. So I'm probably going to start at like the 220, 230, and then work my way down from there, and just kind of see what we get. And then the iPhone 8. This actually is a 256 gigabyte plus and unlocked as well. And this does have there's features to definitely keep in mind comparing them. So the iPhone 8 Plus has the wireless charging with the glass on the back. The iPhone 7 Plus does not. So it's just kind of differentiating them, knowing the differences, and then kind of gauging the cost. Again, the battery on the 8 was actually a little degraded than the 7. But overall, I think just comparing them, they seem pretty similar, even though the settings-wise was telling otherwise, but not by much to do pricing. So I was seeing about 280 to a little over 300 for the iPhone 8. So again, kind of marking it a little higher and then going down from there, and we'll see how much we can sell these for. Profit wise, I mean, they were purchased at on a monthly payment, pretty much at full price. So overall, there's no profit earnings here, but it will kind of just getting some money back on the original investment is the main goal. So we'll get these listed up. I'm doing Facebook and OfferUp, and for right now, I may throw in Craigslist. If I don't get much activity, then I will look to apply shipping options, but I think that locally I should get quite a bit of activity, and we'll go from there. So here is the iPhone 8 Plus Facebook listing. So as you can note down here, I put the maximum capacity of 75%. Then I also made the point to reference the peak performance that your battery is currently supporting, because those are the two kind of main things about the battery that you should be looking for if you're seeking a used iPhone. And then just also the unlocked, and just confirming that they have a picture or proof that it is unlocked as well. So I posted it up for 320. It's down to 300 right now, and I've definitely been getting a lot of hits on it, but we're kind of just working through the not so serious people, and we'll see if we can find and confirm a buyer. This is the iPhone 7 Plus Facebook posting. I did post these on OfferUp as well, but in this regards, I'm just showing the Facebook one. So I did leave out the maximum performance one. I probably forgot to mention that down in the description there, but nonetheless, I made a point to mention the maximum capacity for the battery. Just kind of mentioning that I do have the original box that the system came with, which I think is a plus. So I put this at the 220 out of the 180 220 range that I was seeing. So we'll see if that gets any bites, and then from there we'll lower it a little bit as we go along. Just keeping in mind that the battery is a little less, so I'm going to go a little lower on it as well. We will see how long these phones will take to sell. We'll be back in just a second. In your eyes, for me, it will might be a couple days, but or even longer, and we'll see what kind of return on the original investment we can make. As you can see, both the phones have sold. It took about a week for them to sell. Definitely a lot of traffic, communication, and I only stuck to listing them locally. I didn't offer any shipping options. So they both sold within a week. As you can see, the iPhone 7 Plus ended up selling for $200, and that partially was because I ended up driving to the person that was about 15 minutes away instead of him coming to me, like I usually gear towards, especially if I'm the seller. And then the iPhone 8 Plus sold for $300 off of Facebook, and the driver did come closer to me during the meetup in that regards. So this is more of a kind of return on investment, as I mentioned before, just kind of getting some money back on the purchase. And some of the chats going back and forth, people just had questions, any dents. So the pictures I took, I felt were pretty clear and showing all the details of the phone. So I definitely take that into account. But as always, don't hesitate to ask questions if you're about to drop a couple $100 on a used phone. Definitely confirm as much detail as you can in regards to the battery and the unlocking options when it comes to the Apple account that's not signed in, as well as unlocking for the carrier. It's a lot easier for the original owner to unlock it via their carrier's account than it is for someone else to unlock it down the road. So just keep that in mind. But this was the selling of an iPhone 7 Plus and an iPhone 8 Plus in 2021. If you have any comments, as always, comments below, like the video if you liked it, and just let me know if you have any questions on selling an iPhone or buying an iPhone in 2021.